Good evening, everyone. This is Master Coordinator Joanne Nistico and Terry Coakley. This is the OPA call on May 14th, and we are your hosts. We're very excited
everybody.
about... Sorry, Terry.
That's
We're
right.
in separate rooms, too. Besides the fact that we have no lights, Terry is upstairs and I'm down here in the other room. Okay, this evening we're very excited about what we're offering. It's an intelligent supplementation is no longer an option. Now it is the only solution. And I have with me this evening presenting some of my favorite people, a team of women that I work with on a regular basis. Senior Coordinator Pam Budners, Senior Coordinator Susie Sunkel, Senior Director Mary Beth Petricus, and Director Susan Buda. And these lovely ladies are going to assist me in doing this fantastic presentation that was given to us by Don and Pat Semeka, Senior Master Coordinators. Don and Pat recently had a bang-up year. They took 9 people to Cabo, and they're recently in China. The nutritional presentation, I think, was created by one of their downline. And thank you so much for joining us this evening. We really appreciate you being here, and I know that we're all so very busy, so I know that you are as passionate probably as we are about the topic this evening. Mary Loomis, who started the OPA lineage, was an avid nutritional presenter. She actually built her business on nutritional presentations in her home, doing weekly luncheons. So for those of you that want to have a large Shaklee business, doing nutritional presentations may be something that you'd like to begin. This presentation is one that you can use. It can go very quickly, or it can be detailed. You can use it 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different times. You can spread it out along the way and invite people over to share this wonderful wealth of information. Because what we're going to talk to you about is a little bit about how Shaklee, what Shaklee is as a company, and then quickly move into our food and our food supply and what has happened to our food supply, which Dr. Shaklee certainly found out many, many years ago. I'll share a little bit more about that in a minute. We'll talk about the state of health in America today, the major issues that we face, and then some options that we have, some choices where we can make positive possible solutions to the state of our own health and the state of our food supply. And then we'll wrap it up when we towards the end on where you can go from here. Dr. Shaklee started the company and actually started the vitamin industry in 1915. He collaborated with a man called Kashmir Funk. But before that, how and why he even started that was because when he was a young child, he was a consumptive child. And by the way, everyone, there is a printout that was created called The Birth of a Philosophy that will be hosted on the OPA site. The Birth of a Philosophy has a wonderful detailed story of Dr. Shaklee as a consumptive child and how his mother was told that he wouldn't be able to live to a ripe old age. And she decided to take him out of the city and move him to a farm and feed him whole foods and treat him with nature. And he became very strong and healthy. And he pondered this as a young man to the point of becoming a biochemist and trying to understand why did he live, why did he become healthy through natural foods. And so he studied the law of nature, which our products are founded on, and he created vitalized minerals back in 1915. And in 1956, he decided how can he spread the word and share his message of these fabulous nutritional products, and he founded in 1956 the Shaklee Company. And we're the #1 natural nutritional company in the world. And we also, 14 years ago, were purchased by a billionaire owner named Roger Barnett. Roger Barnett also had an interest in staying healthy, being healthy, and also helping his son who had terrible asthma, who was being brought to the hospital on a regular basis, and he was looking for natural solutions. He found Shaklee in his research and decided to buy the company, which was up for sale at that time. And fortunately, we have the DNA continued by these two mission agents of wanting to spread the great word of what having great nutritional supplements, scientifically based supplements to be given to every family member that they have, as well as to many others. So with that, I'm going to turn over the presentation and the next slide to Senior Coordinator Susie Sunkel, who's an avid person who teaches nutrition on a regular basis. So Susie?
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you very much. Joanne has been a fabulous mentor now for 23 years. She's like a grandmother to my kids, and that's what happens. Everybody becomes family because you're talking about, you know, your health and food. And I just wanted to say, when you talk about the Semecas took 9 to Cabo, and now they're in China, that's all on Shaklee. These are trips that so many of us couldn't take, but they don't have to pay for anything. They earn these trips. So I think that's fabulous. I'm so glad you mentioned that. So here, 100 years ago, you know, he talked about Dr. Shaklee and how he was such a sick kid, and he was healed through natural foods. His mother understood that, and back then there was no worry of that. You know, we had fresh water. The fish, you didn't have to worry about them being tainted. Foods weren't called organic. They just were because they were fresh. The ground was so nutrient dense. The ground was just wonderful. It was rich soil. The cattle was hormone free. Everybody had home-cooked meals. They ate together, talked together. You know, that also helps just the family being together. That makes a very big difference. And, you know, Dr. Shaklee was a great example of that, how we lived to ripe old age, being healthy. Scott, next slide, please. And this is today. The difference today is just really scary when you look at this slide. You know, it's a totally different picture. We have pesticides, fungicides, herbicides that are sprayed all over our fruits and vegetables so that bugs won't eat them. But then we're eating them, and that's not something that's real healthy to ingest. You talked about, you know, the Barnetts, one of their children had asthma, and that was when they decided to come to Shaklee. When I was growing up, we had one child who had asthma. Now there's so many, and you know, there's so much research to show so much of that can be from the pesticides and the fungicides, the things that we're ingesting. The hormones and antibiotics, the bovine growth hormones, we are ingesting all this if they're in foods that we eat. The GMOs, that's just, you know, I want foods that are naturally made, not genetically modified. We still really don't know what genetic modification can do to us. So it's a very different picture today. So no wonder there's so many different diseases out there today than there were 100 years ago. So why is this? What are we eating? Next slide, please. I mean, look at this. How many people can relate to this? We are on the go. Very few people are eating with family at the table. Everybody's running, picking up fast foods. Are they really foods? What's in them? You might think, you know, some of these foods, oh, but it's less expensive. I'm saving money. Are you? I know, you know, when my kids were young and before I started doing research in nutrition, was introduced to Shaklee, I was grabbing the fast foods as well, taking my kids to all their activities. And guess what? We were all sick all the time. It was not until we changed our food habits and started supplementing that we really saw a big difference. So there's no longer can be any doubt about the link between diet and disease. We've seen such a change since we've added all of this, which I call fake foods. It's, you know, just really very, very different than it used to be. And because of that, there's a lot of consequences. Let's go to that next slide. In America, normal is not healthy. Nearly 4 out of 5 people in the U.S. have some sort of disease. Not quite serious enough to warrant medical attention, but neither can they boast of good health. I mean, how many people can identify with these? And I won't even say identify with one of these. How many people can identify with 5 of them at least? Most people can check off almost every single thing in here. So we really have some real challenges ahead of us. Again, I saw such a difference in myself and my family when we changed the way we eat. It was amazing, the difference of how we felt. So disease is not caused by a shortage of medications. Medications, sometimes they are needed, but often they're a Band-Aid. We need to treat the causes, not just the symptoms. We need to go down deep and see what those causes truly are. I don't know about you, but I did not like going around being tired all the time, having PMS so bad that my husband wanted to start a men's support group, muscle cramping, weak immunity system, getting sick all the time. I did not like that and really didn't realize that it wasn't normal because everybody else was like that too. It's so nice today not to be in that group. And I will go over one more slide, the next slide, because this is so important, how our children are affected. Just look at children from 3 to 14. They now have adult diseases. And I was talking about that boy who had asthma in my elementary school. One boy, Danny Copeland. I still remember his name. Now there's probably one boy in the elementary school who does not have asthma. That's scary. And you can read these, but just to read some of them, 70% have elevated cholesterol. Kids with elevated cholesterol, that is scary. 39% increase in boys, 147% increase in girls for type 2 diabetes. Really? And that is from foods. In 1996, 1 million with ADHD. 2009, 5.3 million with ADHD. One of my sons was diagnosed in first grade with ADHD. They wanted to immediately medicate him. We had just gotten involved with chocolate. I was just learning. We changed the way he ate. We used the smart supplementation, changed other, products in our house so the air he breathed was better. And within a month, it was gone. He was a different child. It was beautiful to watch, and we just shocked everybody. So this may actually be the first generation in the history of mankind to have a shorter lifespan than their parents. I don't think anybody wants that. So now I have the privilege of introducing Mary Beth, who also has become a great friend, support, colleague, very smart, and I'm going to give the floor to Mary Beth.
Well, thank you, Susie. Scott, can we go to the next slide, please? So let's look at some of the increases we're dealing with since 1999. Heart disease increased by 10%, cancer 20%, type 2 diabetes 35%. And isn't it interesting that fast food sales have increased by 2,000% in that same period of time? The nutrient content of food has decreased by 38%. And the percent of people who eat the recommended servings of fruits and vegetables is 2%. So you look at all the statistics and percentages, and you know there is something significant going on. Look at the information in blue. Heart disease is 80% preventable. Cancer is 60%. Type 2 diabetes is 90%. We look at these increases of diseases, and then we look at the window of opportunity we have with prevention. All of us need to think more about this because so much more can be done. There is only one cause of disease, malfunctioning cells. There are only 2 causes of malfunctioning cells, toxins and lack of nutrients. And this comes from a book by Raymond Francis, Never Be Sick Again. He hits the nail on the head with what is going on in our world today and our society. Next slide. Statistics don't lie. This really gives us a rather staggering but accurate picture of what is happening with the health in America. The U.S. leads the world with more people per thousand with degenerative disease. We used to have the least. The U.S. life expectancy rank has dropped to 23rd out of 30 industrialized nations. The cancer rate in 1950, 1 in 80. 1970, 1 in 6. And today it's 1 in 2. And if we think about it, there's a lot more people on this earth now, too. It is just mind-blowing. The death rate from heart attacks in 1926 was 1 in almost 21,000. 1940 was 1 in 2014. And today, it's 1 in 2, just like cancer. This is alarming. So that leads us to ask some questions. Next slide. Which path are you on? If you take care of you, the body creates health. If you don't, the body degenerates. So we have two options. On the left, we have disease and death, and this starts with symptoms, then illness and disability, and which takes time, creates stress, leading to reliance on medical care and a lot of money. If we have optimum health, there is good diet and supplementation because, as we discussed, our food is not what it used to be. We now have to fill those gaps. Exercise is a must. Rest and relaxation, well, we find that challenging. We are always stimulated and always going. The list continues with positive attitude, healthy relationships, a good spiritual life, and good lifestyle choices. Every day we get to make a new choice. We get to decide where do we want to be with our health. What side of the page do we want to be on? And for every dollar spent on nutritional supplements, we will save $28 in healthcare costs. I can never get over that. That's pretty incredible. Next slide. So let's talk about intelligent supplementation. It really is not an option. Take a look at the picture of a Time magazine issue that talked about how to end up in a hospital bed. That is all about prevention. Shaklee is the original prevention company. This is who we are and what we do. Rebuilding our health starts with a healthy diet, exercise, and smart supplementation. And there are 3 types of supplements. There are a lot of differences with what is found on the shelf. So let's look at the most common supplement is synthetic supplements. And these are available from grocery stores, discount stores, etc. You can buy tablets for only a couple of dollars. You can buy a couple of apples for the same price as you can purchase 600 tablets of vitamin C. In the synthetic vitamin world, there is no food in these. They are completely man-made to replicate what you would get nutrient-wise from the food molecule. There are no enzymes. There are side effects from short-term stimulants, ingredients for energy like caffeine, dangerous coatings and fillers, and additives that have no business going into our bodies. They are marketed to be good for us. And a big pet peeve of mine is artificial sweeteners that are put into everything and into supplements. We know these sweeteners are not good for health and really something we should stay away from. If you were to go to your local waste management plant and look at the sewage, the number 1 substance floating across the surface is undigested vitamins. Many times people feel like, I got a good value because I bought the vitamins real cheap. But the question you have to ask is, what are you paying for? And if you are just giving that vitamin a little field trip through your body, down through your intestines, and out your bottom into the toilet, is that really a good value? That's really a nice topic to discuss, isn't it? That is really important, though, when deciding which vitamin you are going to take. Let's look at the natural extract supplement. This is the type you are going to find at a health food store. This category, in lay terms, takes food and extracts the nutrients that they want to put in the supplement. This extraction uses chemicals or heat which potentially destroys the enzymes. The question is, can the body utilize these extractions? And another interesting fact is that by law, they can label a supplement natural as long as it is 15% natural. So you have an interesting combination of extracted ingredients added to vitamins made from food, and they label it natural. And meanwhile, possibly only 15% is actually natural. Many companies omit critical nutrients, such as biotin, which is a very important B vitamin, and many companies will either not add it or add a very small amount. Other problems are artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners, binders, and fillers. Bioavailability is the most important factor. Ask the question, will a synthetic or extract enter my bloodstream and nourish the cells? If it cannot get into your bloodstream, what good are you doing? That is really important. Do you want a company that provides that? A thought to consider is that what if you could find a company that is so committed to working with raw ingredients that go beyond organic to create a supplement? What if this company paid attention to what is going on in our food supply, has more dedicated testing than any other company in the industry with regards to testing for pesticides and fungicides? Shaklee uses only raw ingredients from nutrient-rich soil. There is no heat, low pressure, and it has the highest quality of raw materials. Shaklee has incredible testing to make sure that nothing is getting into the supplement that shouldn't be there, making sure it is getting absorbed and it is getting into the bloodstream at the right time. This is everything that goes into a supplement that gets results, and the reason we are so excited about these products is we know that if you use them and try them, you are going to feel the difference. Next slide. We are Shaklee. Here are the products we have. There is the Nutrition line and the Shaklee 180 line, which is a fantastic designed program for weight loss. Sports nutrition that Olympic athletes use. Personal care that is as natural as it can get. You know 3 things to think through. Next slide. They are always safe. They always work, and they always green. Let's look at always safe. We do 100,000 annual quality tests on all of our ingredients. Every new botanical ingredient gets 350 contaminant tests alone. This is unheard of in the industry and absolutely sets the standard and what allows our product to be incredibly safe and guaranteed. You can see the ingredients Shaklee will not put in their products. Parabens, no dioxane, no phthalates, formaldehyde, artificial sweeteners, flavors, colorings, and no banned substances ever. We have an amazing track record for a company that started in 1956 of never having these harmful chemicals in our products. We are proud of no animal testing, and we are beyond organic, which means organic raw materials have been tested for contaminants after leaving organic soil. Always works. We have over 500 million products sold and over $250 million invested in research and development. We have over 100 published peer-reviewed clinical studies. This is very significant because it is the best type of clinical study. They are peer-reviewed, so they are third-party, double-blind, placebo-controlled. They are not just clinical studies where a company buys an advertisement spot in a magazine. Truly quality studies that have been nominated for publication and really have the very best scientific evidence, proving that the product really does what it's supposed to do. We have a great number of elite athletes that use Shaklee products and have powered over 100 medals, which we are very proud of. And we have over 60 patents and patents pending. Always green. We were the very first company and the only company to be climate neutral certified year after year, which is a big deal. Dr. Shaklee created the very first non-toxic household cleaning product in 1960. We have saved so much in plastics and packaging waste because of our Get Clean kit. We have planted over 1 million trees, so we have a really neat place in the world, environmentally speaking. And now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Susan Buda, who has been a longtime friend, and I have so much respect for her. She is a chemist and now a full-time director with Shaklee. She felt much better with Shaklee, but it was the Shaklee science that proved the Shaklee difference with her. Susan?
Well, thanks, Mary Beth. Mary Beth talked about the Shaklee difference, but what is the proof that Shaklee really is different than our competitors? Well, in 2007, a paper was published by Dr. Gladys Block and her team from the University of California at Berkeley. Dr. Block studies health and disease in groups, and she was curious about the health effects of long-term vitamin users. It was the first time this kind of research was ever studied. Now, Dr. Block looked at 3 groups of people with similar health profiles. The first group didn't use supplements at all. A second group took your typical over-the-counter vitamins. And the third group used multiple Shaklee supplements for over 20 years. And the results were remarkable. Scott, will you show the next slide? These were some of the health markers that Dr. Block compared. Things like diabetes, different types of heart disease, stroke, cholesterol, inflammation markers like C-reactive protein, and things like that. So the no supplement group's results are in blue. The single multivitamin group is in red, and the Shaklee group is in green. Now, in every category where it is good to have a lower value, the Shaklee people were healthier and had lower values. Like, look at diabetes, for instance. Shaklee users had 75% less diabetes than the other groups. Now, there are some categories, like in HDL or good cholesterol, where it's better to have a higher value. And of course, Shaklee users' HDL cholesterols were higher. So in every measure that Dr. Block looked at, Shaklee people were not only healthier, but significantly healthier than the others. May we see the next slide, Scott? A surprising fact came out of this data. Previous studies showed that the average American under 65 had about 12 different prescriptions written every year. The average American over 65 has around 19 different prescriptions written every year. The Shaklee people, with an average age of 63 years old at this time, had, on average, less than 1 prescription written every year. And this is the point. The goal is to stay healthy and stay out of the doctor's office. So Shaklee people get to spend that time thriving on much nicer activities. And this is the Shaklee difference, and this is how Shaklee users live. So what do these Shaklee users do? Scott, will you show the next slide? The Shaklee users in this study took a wide range of supplements on a consistent basis. Shaklee put together a supplement package called Vitalizer, largely based on this study. Vitalizer is the most complete and well-designed daily vitamin strip. And if you look down the right-hand column of this picture, Vitalizer is a result of 55 years of nutritional science and based on 12 clinical studies with 12 patents and patents pending. You would need to eat all this beautiful food and in these amounts to get the 80 different nutrients in the Vitalizer strip. And Vitalizer contains no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, preservatives, sweeteners. And even more, Shaklee performs over 1,000 quality tests every time Vitalizer is made. So Scott, may we have the next slide? Well, why does Vitalizer work so well? The nutrients in Vitalizer strips are bio-optimized, meaning that the nutrients absorb correctly and can serve our cells. Shaklee had to develop some sophisticated delivery systems to make this happen. You can see on the delivery page on the right-hand side that each tablet will release and be delivered to the right place along the digestive tract so that we use all the nutrition in Vitalizer. So what's in this wonderful Vitalizer strip? Well, the strip begins with 2 multivitamins, which are absolutely fundamental when you are building your health. Now, there is the B and C complex that has sustained delivery systems. Now, vitamins B and C are examples of nutrients in our body that we go through very quickly when we're under stress. So a steady release of these nutrients is essential. Now, the complex is also important for immune function, cell protection, and tissue repair. But vitamin B complex is an additional special gift that also helps us with energy, nerves, mood, and managing stress. So it's wonderful to have plenty of that. Now, the next types of tablets that are in, or capsules that are in Vitalizer are 2 Corrado E Omega capsules, which contain all your carotenoids or vitamin A's, all your vitamin E's, and omega-3 fatty acids in their natural forms. Now, did you know that there are more than one type of these nutrients? Your body knows, and that's what we get in Vitalizer, but rarely in any other brands. So finally, the last little pearl in this strip is called OptiFlora, which is Shaklee's probiotics. Now, you've probably heard about the benefits of probiotics or good bacteria. Yet, probiotics are really tricky. Studies have shown that brands of probiotics off the shelf have tested with absolutely 0 active bacteria. And less than 10% of the probiotics with live bacteria survive the stomach acid. So it's really important that we have a probiotic that is alive and survives the digestion process so it gets to where it needs to be, and that's in the lower intestines. Well, Shaklee OptiFlora is unique. It's triple encapsulated, so it survives the stomach acid and doesn't get killed off into the digestive process, so it actually makes a real difference. So in summary, Vitalizer contains a phenomenal amount of nutrition that works together to help the body be the best it possibly can be. And you'll see on the left all the benefits of this firm baseline of nutrition. We get healthier brains, better immune function, lower inflammation, better digestion, cognitive function, the list goes on. But you can buy these nutrients separately, so you do have some options. However, Vitalizer is an ideal place to start because you get so much with great delivery systems. And now with that, I'd like to introduce Pamela Bunder, an inspirer in my life. In the work that Pam does, she loves helping people discover and navigate the many pathways and choices that we have to create a healthier life for themselves, the families, and the planet. So, Pam, will you continue our discussion?
Thank you, Susan, for that nice introduction. Could I have the next slide, please? Well, there we go, Shaklee Protein. Now, this is one of my favorite things. It was the first Shaklee product I really fell in love with a long time ago. When Joanne introduced me to the soy protein product, I was taking brewer's yeast every morning. If anyone ever has experienced that, it's quite unpleasant. I had to hold my nose and gag it down, but I knew the B vitamins in that product gave me energy. So when I was introduced to the Shaklee protein, it was like the nectar of the gods. And indeed, the word protein, if you don't know this, it's kind of fun to know that it's derived from the Greek, and it means primary or in the lead or to take first place. And protein is indeed the body's most important building block. One other thing I just want to mention too, it tastes really great. We have different protein choices. You can see the 180 is now called the Life Energizing Shake, so that product has had a little bit of a makeover. It looks different packaging, but the choices up there are, you can find one that's completely neutral that you can cook with. There's the original energizing soy protein. There's the Life Shake that is now, it's 180, and the orange there that comes in different flavors. But it tastes so great, and that's another thing that I loved about my first introduction. So if you look down the right-hand column, we can talk about the benefits of Shaklee's protein and so, some of the options that we have. It fights against aging and cancer. It boosts energy. It's the number one thing that makes a difference. When I work with people who have some energy issues, who have some blood sugar bouncing, who get tired at 10 o'clock in the morning because maybe their breakfast has been a cup of coffee and a bagel, you know, when we introduce protein to people who have that blood sugar issue, they get such wonderful results. It's the result that I had. If I have my protein shake in the morning, I know I'm good till 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon with good sustained energy. And along the way, you have good heart health, better cholesterol levels. It helps positively impact breast and prostate health, regulates menopause, and therefore helps with hormonal balance. It builds all the cells, enzymes, hormones, and antibodies in your body. You cannot build your cells or create enzymes or hormones or antibodies without good biologically complete protein. And that just means that the 9 essential amino acids that are part of protein get delivered to your body in the right time, in the right proportion, so protein synthesis occurs in your body at the optimal level. And that is just a wonderful, wonderful way to get protein in your body. It's kosher. It's non-GMO soy, which is very difficult to get these days. And for those of you who don't know about the history of our company, you know, Shaklee, Dr. Shaklee, he developed this product. And Shaklee was the first company ever to make a protein isolate that was plant-based. So if you're out there in the marketplace and you see the protein choices on the shelves, just know that Shaklee protein was the first and foremost, the front runner, the early pioneer to make a good plant-based protein. It's also, the quality is so amazing because a lot of soy proteins out there are alcohol processed, which not only removes the beneficial isoflavones, but it also creates a cross-contamination with chemicals used to process it. So Shaklee protein has always been water washed, so you get the benefit of all those good isoflavones. And there, may I have the next slide, Scott? Shaklee 180, again, our product looks different now. It's called Life Energizing Shake, and it doesn't have an orange cap right now. And it's had a makeover, and we still have the flavor choices, but we have additional things in our new Life Energizing Shake, and that are pre and probiotics, which help support digestion and immune health, and omega-3 fatty acids, which are great for your brain and your heart. But what this shake does, it can be used as a weight loss system. It can be used as a meal replacement. One of the key ingredients in this formulation is the amino acid called leucine. And leucine helps you to preserve your muscle while you lose weight and burn fat. It has 25 grams of, again, non-GMO soy protein when it's mixed as directed. It's very high in fiber, 6 grams per serving, which is really pretty remarkable. And again, Shaklee was a leader in the developing fiber. And having good protein and good fiber is what makes you feel full, it makes you feel satisfied, and you can go about having a meal replacement and know that your body's healthy and you feel great. Could I have the next slide, please? Another one of my favorite products is a product we have called the Nutritional. And This product was developed by a Japanese immunologist, Dr. Kojima, and he was recipient of the Nobel Prize for discovering interferon. And I like to talk about Nutriferon I tell people, you know, Nutriferon is a lot like taking your immune system to the gym. It tones and balances your immune system so that when the invaders come, and we all know that what the invaders are, people sneezing around you, or you're around people who've had a cold or a flu, or it's flu season and everyone's talking about getting the flu shot. Well, we have something that really powers up your immune system, and it does it naturally and safely with a combination of 4 different Chinese herbs that are clinically proven to be safe and remarkably effective. So it's an alternative for a lot of people rather than getting a flu shot. If you're on the fence about that, or you know anyone who's on the fence, make sure you tell them about Nutriferon. It's also very powerful this time of year, I find. Here in New England, where I live in the Boston area, our trees are leafing out and in different phases. You know, the hemlocks come one week and the different trees come another week, and there's lots of pollen in the air. And I really find with the people that I work with that upping their Nutriferon, taking a little extra Nutriferon this time of year really helps the body to resist all those allergies and symptoms of allergies and sneezing and so forth. Okay, next slide. Vivix. Vivix is just such an exciting product. It is something that has been really a breakthrough in terms of what we have to offer with Shaklee. It's backed by 6 patents. It has a proprietary and all-natural blend of lots of different polyphenols that are based on the muscadine grape. And the muscadine grape grows exclusively in the southeastern part of this country, and it's a super grape because it has an extra chromosome. And in addition to the muscadine grape, we have ellagic acid and some other polyphenols. And what we've come up with, or what Shaklee has come up with, is this very exclusive elixir, I call it. And it comes in a liquid form, or it comes in a gel tab, so you can drink it as an elixir, as a tonic, or you can take a gel tab. And any formulation, what it does is it helps to repair the damage in our DNA that occurs just from being humans on the planet. You know, our DNA gets damaged by the air that we breathe that's not pure, by the water we drink that's not pure, by the food supply that Susie talked about in the early slides. We have unless we live in a bubble, our DNA does get damaged. So this is a product that really, really can repair some of that damage. And since this slide was produced, the Vivix formulation has even been improved so that we can now say that it is 13 times more powerful than resveratrol alone. And that's because of the formulation. There's a lot of resveratrol products out there on the market, but there's nothing out there like Vivix that has the exclusive blend of not just the muscadine grapes, but the other bioactive polyphenols as well. So it's just a very, very exciting product when it comes to anti-aging and cell repair. You know, I think Susan had mentioned the book earlier. The title's escaping me right now, but the health is won or lost at the cellular level. So this is a product that helps cell defense, cell energy, cell repair, and cell performance. Okay, next slide, Scott, please. MindWorks. MindWorks is a newer product in the Shaklee portfolio and addresses it's one of our targeted solutions that addresses brain health. And it's interesting, when I was doing a little research and reading about brain health, and there's a lot, if you read books or watch public television, there's lots of different issues or material out there now about brain health because it's such a hot topic, cognition and Alzheimer's. Everyone wants to age well and keep their brains in good shape. So MindWorks is a product that is designed to help do that in just that way. And it was interesting to learn that the neural connections in our brain start declining as early as age 20. And by age 45, this decline occurs even more rapidly. So the key nutrients in this MindWorks product have been shown through 3 clinical studies and dozens of lab studies to immediately enhance mental sharpness and focus and protect against age-related mental decline. Next slide, please. Shaklee blood pressure, again, a targeted solution, and this product is designed to help the heart, to stay in control of your heart health. We have healthy exercise and all the other things, and eating well, not eating a lot of fatty foods, and taking 2 tablets a day of blood pressure helps to retain normal, healthy blood pressure. So by promoting blood circulation and by promoting healthy blood vessels. In addition, you know, the Shaklee formulations are always so interesting. It's not just one thing. There's magnesium that's folded into this formulation because lab studies have suggested that magnesium helps to relax and support your healthy blood vessels, which is important in maintaining your good blood pressure. So again, it's clinically proven combination of ingredients that really help the heart stay healthy. Next slide. Shaklee Kids. Well, I am at the point in my life where I have a grandson and a granddaughter on the way, and so I'm very interested in the Shaklee nutritional support for kids. And I have to say that I am delighted to be able to give my grandson a great tasting, all-natural, healthy nutritional supplement. He's in daycare every day, and so he's getting exposed to lots of stuff through the other kids in the enclosed environment that he's in. And I have to say he's just one of the healthiest little guys ever. He hardly ever gets sick, and he's very consistent, because we know consistency helps with our supplementation, about chewing up his Incredivites every day. Takes 2 every day, and he has for a couple of years now. One of the key things that makes the Incredivites so unique is the addition of lactoferrin, which really helps power up the immune system. And Shaklee was the first kids multi in the U.S. with this supporting ingredient. Interestingly enough, too, that this formulation had the optimum levels of vitamin D before all of the massive information came out about vitamin D and how beneficial it is. So it tastes great, because if the kids don't chew it, it's not going to do them any good. Naturally sweetened with xylitol, so it doesn't promote any kind of cavities. And on the left side, you see the Mighty Smart Chews. And this is, again, a great way. Kids usually don't gravitate towards eating fish, which is where we generally get our omega-3 fatty acids from eating the blue-skin fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, anchovies. Well, I have yet to meet a kid who likes any of that fish. So what we have is the Mighty Smart. And that is like an orange kind of flavored Starburst, if you've ever had that candy. It's a fish oil that just happens to taste like an orange Starburst. So it's somewhat miraculous that Shaklee was able to do that. But kids love it, and it's great for their brain, and the organic content in this little chew is fantastic. So I am going to turn it back over to Susan, and she's going to share a little bit about how we can keep our homes healthier as well. Thank you.
And thanks, Pam. Scott, will you show the next slide? The final product line that we're going to speak about tonight is our Get Clean products. Now, Get Clean is our non-toxic, multitasking household cleaning line. It's chemical-free, it's biodegradable, and it's extremely beneficial to our health. See, many times when we work with people and help them get healthier, dealing with the chemicals in their home is often a very, very good place to start. And that takes the environmental stress off the bodies that have been exposed to toxins on a daily basis for sometimes many, many years. Shaklee's Get Clean Kit is incredibly concentrated. So let me just give you a few steps. This kit here from Shaklee is $99, and yet it's equivalent to having $3,400 worth of products from the regular stores. And that's because we start with concentrates. And starting with concentrates saves 108 pounds of packaging waste and 248 pounds of greenhouse gases. That's the environmental equivalent of like planting 10 trees. And it all begins with adding the tap water at our own home instead of these products being inflated monetarily and when we buy them at the stores. So Get Clean is a great option for people to save money, and the stuff cleans better than anything out there. I mean, it really cleans well. It's so easy to use, and you're going to, again, save so much money. So anyone who deals with allergies, asthma, and breathing issues, maybe skin issues, immune function issues, etc., they'd be very wise to look at getting the chemicals out of their house, and this is such an easy way to do it and makes a huge difference. So now I'll turn it back to Joanne.
Okay, well, thank you, Susan. Thank you, everyone. I'm so impressed with my wonderful lady friends who have assisted me with this fantastic and fabulous nutritional presentation. The final slide, thank you, Scott. Please, you can switch slides. The final slide in this nutritional presentation that you would go through, and I started out saying that you can do this nutritional presentation in once a week. You could have it where you get a group of people and you come in and you can teach it if you're doing it by yourself rather than going through the whole thing, or you can get a group of your team partners to do a similar presentation as we're doing tonight. And as I mentioned, Mary Loomis was the mother of nutritional presentations that she would do in her home, that she would do weekly to share with her friends, because she became healthy and people started asking her, well, what did she do to help herself become healthy after having been sick for a long time? So in any presentation, one of the things that I had to learn was I had to learn how to close the presentation. I was terrific at educating people about the passion of why I love Shaklee, just as all of these wonderful ladies did for you this evening. By the way, there is a script that you don't have to try to think, how would I possibly do this presentation? Because there is a script that is all outlined for you that you can print out and have along to study, to be able to put across some of these great informative points that everybody did this evening. But I had to learn how to close a sale, and I think the end result is not how much it's not when you get into Shaklee, it's when Shaklee gets into you. So for people to get the benefits of all we've talked about this evening, it's really important that they get involved with using the products. So you say at the end of the program, there are 3 ways to become engaged into finding yourself into a healthier environment, overcoming some of the obstacles that you heard about this evening. And the first step at the top of the circle would be to use the products, to experience the products, to be able to experience the results that we know are 100% guaranteed, and you would find them products very effective, and they'll have a huge impact on the health of your families. So that would be the first choice for you, possibly, to just use and try the products. Or after, if you feel that you really are behind this 100%, as many of us in the room are or on the call are, they have decided to become referral partners, or as the current presentation that Charlene Fike has done is said, become a mission agent for finding raving fans of the Shaklee products. And that's really what Dr. Shaklee was looking for. He knew the impact having great nutrition healthy nutritional supplements in our body and the difference it can make for the health of human beings. So he was looking for mission agents to share or referral partners who would share the products with family and friends. And the benefit to you to do that sharing would be that you could get your products for free. Wouldn't that be nice? And that is another step that someone could take, or as many of us on the phone have decided to do, is to build a Shaklee career, to build a business that can create generational wealth. And of course, all of us that presented tonight have chosen to be mission agents for the Shaklee products and have also managed to be able to create a plan B for ourselves, where we have and as for myself especially, a full career income that will span not only from my generation but for future generations. So at the heart of Shaklee is a dedication to health and wellness for both us and the people that we introduce these products to. We're happy to be able to explore any of these options to all of you this evening, and I'll talk to each of you individually after the presentation to see which choice would be most beneficial to you. Thank you very much again for joining us this evening. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule, and we look forward to spending more time with you in the future. Thank you, ladies. I'm so proud of all of you. You did a great job this evening.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you,
Thanks. Thank you.